Let's hear it. Stacy.
Mr. Mayor, you characterize it as a success in NES's ability to get its first 100,000 customers back up in about 72 hours. I think for the 90,000 plus that still have their homes in the dark, they would call what's happened the past few days a failure. Have you got any indication from NES why so many homes are still without power and why the last 48 hours the restoration numbers have just crawled?
That is what we're hoping to hear more about, I think, in the next hour and a half. We know that they were able to restore power at the places that were easiest to restore, so that even with some additional capacity, the places that are seeing more slow progress or just simply more challenging terrain, they may have just more damage on, utility poles. The number of damaged utility poles is now up over 400. I'm going to leave the rest of that for NES to say, and I'll say, I mean, I know this from having previously lived through an experience where we were without power for 5 days. It is very hard to know that neighbors around you have their power restored and you're sitting there wondering why yours isn't. That gap is where we need to do a better job of filling that in with the story of how difficult the work is and what the impact of the work is.
Let's see. Let's go Jonathan here.
Chief, you talked about a fourth death related to a generator and carbon monoxide suspected impacts. Did I hear right? Were the other three suspected weather deaths also related to generators and carbon monoxide?
No. A fourth death. Don Aaron is here if you want to answer that. We've had two related to a generator. The other two were not.
Just cold weather related.
We think.
Fourth passing overall.
Right.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Go back, Karen.
I wanted to speak about the Winter Storm Recovery Fund. I know you kind of brought that up, but you guys.
Erica,
well, you're partnering, but
yeah.
could we just get a comment from you? I posted this on Twitter, and so people are already commenting just about the city's part in this partnership of actually setting up a fund and what the city can handle in this capacity.
Yeah, we've done this multiple times before, Karen, where we've had recovery funds for previous disasters. And Eric, I might let you talk about how the United Way Community Foundation kind of aligned to create these funds and make them available.
Sure. As the mayor was saying, this is a standard practice for us. We do have a standing MOU with the city. We're part of the emergency management response plan, and so when it is necessary, United Way, along with other organizations like the Community Foundation, Hands On, which is also part of United Way, we partner with so that we can provide a fund, and we work with the volunteer organizations active in disaster to help identify those needs. That's a collective organization of multiple nonprofits across the city, about 50 plus, and they have boots on the ground. They're assessing needs so that we can determine where to prioritize funding.
I know, thank you so much. I know food and supplies were mentioned. A lot of people have had to use money out of their own pockets to pay for hotels. And I know it sounds a little bit far-fetched than just, than what you think, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are dishing this out on their own. Is this Winter Storm Recovery Fund going to include some money to cover those hotels until the power comes back on?
So one of the areas that we have emphasized in the past, and I would imagine would still continue with the fund today through VOAD, is direct financial assistance. So we have a number of nonprofit partners that work in this space, and so for individuals who are experiencing exactly what you've said, there's a pathway forward to receive that kind of assistance.
And Karen, we'll have a couple of announcements tomorrow of things we've been working on related to emergency shelter as well. We'll do two more. We'll go Julianne here, and then Cindy will finish with you.
Yeah, in regards to aid from FEMA, is there just any more kind of specifics on what that might look like, what kind of things they're doing?
Right. At this time, again, we're making all assessments, and I know you probably get tired of me saying that, but again, we have to make assessments to see what our needs are. Right at this moment, our focus have been sheltering, food, staffing for the shelters and making sure that we have all resources in that area. But as we move forward, we start talking about now, as you talk, we activated our VOAD, we hands on Nashville, we'll be able to make assessments with them. What do we need now? Food trucks, we need chainsaws, we need things that help people get out in the community to help establish more aid. So that's what we're building. It takes step by step. As I said yesterday, you have to analyze, you have to look at what you've got. Then you have to plan on what you've analyzed. Then you implement that plan that you've made, and then you constantly reevaluate it. This is a live footprint. You know, we put things out that we try to accomplish, and if it doesn't work, we pull it back, and we have to start this over again. Analyze, plan, implement, reevaluate. I understand, I've been in this long enough to know that we can do everything right and things still go wrong. We can never move quick or fast enough, but I don't want to disingenuine the efforts of all of those people that's trying to make a difference, and then at the same time have empathy for individuals right now who don't have power and feels as if they're not being heard. So again, as we get those plans and as we implement them or come up, we will make sure that we share those. I also want to mention real quick about after action plans. I know we've talked a little bit about that. When we do an after action, it will give everybody an opportunity to come in and view what we've done. You know, so when you talk about NES or you talk about anyone, you'll do a SWOT analysis. No one is more critical on us than us. So we'll be able to look at things that we did good, what we did bad. We'll be able to put plans ahead so if it ever happens again, we don't make those same mistakes. And I think that would be for anybody to do an after action, including our NES partners and anybody else in that fashion. So it'll help all of us understand some of the frustrations that you may have. When you view the after actions, you may have a better understanding of why it took place. Not to make any excuses. That's just what it's for. Thank you.
But that team of coordination is also what I think enabled, once we had the governor's executive order in place, the support, because we knew that we wanted to make sure there were no obstacles to NES accessing sites of power outages. And so having the combination of NDOT, TDOT, TEMA support with National Guard, the extended contracts that NDOT has. I mean, we'll have more crews coming online even tomorrow to work on that. And so that level of chain of command from OEM to TEMA and eventually to FEMA is very important.
Yeah, I just had a clarification question. A press release went out yesterday saying that TEMA had activated the National Guard to do things like health and welfare checks. Just wanted to clarify with Director Swan if that's not happening in Davidson County.
No. So TEMA is statewide. You know, this is Davidson County, and Davidson County objectives for any National Guard member is to, again, help with removal of debris. So they are not doing welfare checks, and they're not running shelters. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.